Lujan.
We're back with my in-studio guest, Arthur Clark. We're talking about the Federal Receiver. And before we went on a break, I was talking about David Manning, who used to work for Columbia HSC. And this came out from the Associated Press, December 31st, 1997. Manning leaves Columbia HSC, Nashville, Tennessee. Another Columbia HSC healthcare corporate executive is leaving, the 12th senior executive to exit the troubled company this year. Served as Columbia's senior vice president in charge of government relations in issues concerning Medicaid and uninsured, the company said this week. That was back in 1997. The company is a target of a sweeping federal investigation into whether Columbia HSC overbuilt government health care programs. And again, back in 1997, the Columbia HSC settled with the federal government to the tune of 1.7 billion. That's with a B, with the federal government. Now, at that time, there were about 70 executives who had taken the fifth, pled the fifth in court. My question is to David Manning: were you one of the 70 executives that pled the fifth? And if you were, you said you're a fiduciary. You have to tell the people of Guam whether you were one of the executives that pled the fifth to this investigation to the tune where your company settled $1.7 billion to Chase Anderson. There were several reports, of course, that indicate improper conduct by Chase Anderson during his employment as Metropolitan Government of Nashville Solid Waste Director that owned the operation of the Nashville Thermal Transfer Corporation waste-to-energy facility. According to management of the facility, Anderson received notice that the tip floor and the facility was being overfilled with dumped waste, creating a fire hazard for the transfer plant. About a week later, the fire started and the tip floor and spread throughout most of the transfer plant. The Nashville Fire Department investigators reported that the fire was caused by a hot muffler on a lumber truck igniting trash on the tip floor, room floor. The truck operator was dumping wood pellets at the facility on the night of the fire, reported that the tip floor was maintained in an unsafe manner due to heavy storage of garbage. Area was not sprinklerized, and according to the Tennessean newspaper, emails between Chase Anderson, and David Manning explained, because Manning worked for this company, explained that why Anderson allowed overfilling of the tip floor. Chase told Manning that in their correspondence that he was forcing trash hauler BFI to dump its garbage at a facility which was likely for economic reasons, since BFI had to pay Metro $30 for every ton of garbage that was dumped there. Before the fire occurred, Anderson had already been warned that excessive garbage to the facility created fire hazard. Notwithstanding the warning, Anderson continued to jeopardize public safety to exceeding the maximum capacity of the facility in order to continue collecting the dump fees. Metro Solid Waste filed a post-fire lawsuit against two waste management companies alleging negligence and breach of contract. The companies asserted the comparative negligence of Metro Solid Waste and facility. After the 2002 fire, the Metro Solid Waste was involved with another lawsuit. It was sued by Nashville Disposal Company for breach of contract. And so these are the situations here. Again, when they talk about Guam Solid Waste Authority not having the expertise, not being ready to take over Guam Solid Waste. Now, all things being equal. Now, I, as a taxpayer, I don't trust David Manning. David Manning and Chase Anderson have checkered past. So for them to not be able, or to say that our solid waste people, our board of directors, are not ready, yet they also have a checkered past, and I said they need to be accountable. They're a federal receiver, okay? They're a federal receiver. But in a sense, they have become a federal deceiver in this point. Arthur. And not only that, but Chase was also involved in a EEO complaint, which the company lost and settled. There was an EEO complaint. There was a discrimination for an elderly woman that cost the company $350,000. I just got this from the District Court of Guam today, and it was filed by an individual that works for solid waste here in Guam, Tony Carbolito. Okay? He's got a complaint against Mr. Chase Anderson, GBB. Where are the senators? Where's the outrage? I mean, we're not ready. Yes, we've made costly mistakes over the years, Arthur. We're paying for it. It's like a parent. When your kids are naughty, we discipline them. But when we go to the point of abusing our kids, then we have to answer to the law. Isn't David Manning held to the law as well?
Well, yes, he is. And the issues concerning their past, to me, I guess, to the extent there's any truth behind it, of course, that should be a concern. But my focus, on being on the show and calling out what I observe is happening here on Guam, and that's been the clarion call here that we've been trying to get out, is again, we go to these runaway costs. Mm-hmm. And now, the public hears me and Mr. Manning debating who's responsible to pay for those costs, or who should have foreseen those costs. And that's the part where I think it's a he said kind of thing, and the public might lose interest in it. Mm-hmm. The point I'd like to make is it doesn't matter how we got to that point. We've got $100 million extra added on top of the bill now that we're going to pay. So when somebody's paying $45 a month right now, and they think that this is going to cover everything, I just want the people to know that is not the case. Per Mr. Manning, we've got to go out, per GBB, we've got to go out, we've got to go borrow more money now. Mm-hmm. And my estimates are that $45 million, if we were to pass that back to the ratepayers, it would cost the ratepayers about $85 per month in collection.
Now, Arthur, another newspaper, the Nashville Post, writes this, and obviously they've had an experience already with Manning with it. This was written on March 18, 2008 by Kent Whitehouse. It says, David Manning on a deserted island. For those of you who wanted to see the former Metro Finance Director on a remote and desolate atoll, you've got your wish. Someone must have rubbed the bottle and a genie popped out. Former Metro Finance Director David Manning is on a deserted island under a heap of trash. Okay, that may be a stretch, but it's pretty darn close. And he said, basically there, and he says, while on Guam, Manning will, according to the judge order, have full authority, power and authority to enforce the terms of the consent decree, supervise all GovGuam employees associated with consent decree projects, oversee the performance of existing contracts, enter into future contracts, hire consultants, contractors, and the like, facilitate the financing and borrow the funds necessary to carry out the duties related to the consent decree, able to apply to the Consolidated Commission of Utilities for rate increases for residential waste collection services, tipping fees, have full access to government records. And I'm saying they knew what he was about, and they wished him to go to a deserted island, and they said, he's there, look now. But guess what? He found a genie. And there is no wonder why, based on their letters not wanting to give it back to Guam Solid Waste for control, or start getting control, because he reminds me of the Roadrunner, man, running away from his past, finally found a bottle, rubbed it, genie came out. There's no way he wants that genie back in that bottle, because again, it's a gravy train. And and to me, this is scamming Manning. Anyway.
Strong words, Jesse.
Well, I mean, when I'm looking at this again, and they say, yes, we paid for our mistakes, we're paying for our mistakes, but we cannot be abused by someone, again, who's had a past, a checkered past, and has been shown, according to court records and newspapers, that these same individuals have a financial past in regards to maybe not quite clear, that maybe that we have to look into. And I hope the judge, and when the judge, I hope that when she interviewed these federal receivers, that she asked them the questions, but Manning probably lied to her. I hope she'll get him back and say, hey, did you lie to me about your past? Where are we at now?
Well, like I said, the strong words, just my focus here is again on the eventual cost that's going to be passed on to the public, and I think everybody needs to know that. And there's a public safety concern as well. And we'd mentioned, I don't know how much time we have, but
We're just about there.
Here's a picture. I don't know if we can get a zoom on this one. Here's a picture of a haul truck. This is a test truck that they took around the curves, and you can see this truck now is driving into oncoming traffic. And at the time, we were told this was a necessary safety enhancement project. We had to expand the road to accommodate that. And at the time, Mr. Manning thought we had $21 million to spend, and now that we don't, and now he's saying, oh, the projects aren't necessary anymore. My concern is...
We don't have to do it.
Yeah, we don't have to do it now because we can't afford it anymore. But my concern is public safety, and I just want to make sure people understand the risk to their pocketbook as well as the risk to public safety here if we don't get these projects done.
Well, I know today, this morning, you were defending, again, the governor paying back our tax refunds. I hope the senators that are listening now and saying, hey, this is another thing you need to look into, because this is to me, in my opinion, this is a full-on scam. Anyway, thank you very much for being with us tonight and past 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Talk to you tomorrow morning in The Buzz. Isla 63. Want to talk more about this? And I tell you what, this new discovery we got about a complaint from a Tony Carbolito from solid waste. Talk to you tomorrow.